Why red bubble? First check your base stats. If base stats lower than enemy base stats, fix division design. To save time, I'm just gonna show a few good ones. If you wanna learn more about this, check out my video on it. Now let's say we have a better division but bubble still red. Reason is modifiers. Modifiers are multiplicative, so many small ones better than one big one. But how do I get modifiers? Good question. First of all, on the offense you can draw a battle plan to get a planning modifier, and on the defense you can get an entrenchment modifier by just sitting around. Next, make sure your units have supply. If they don't have enough supply yet, click the truck icon. Also make sure to build enough trucks and trains. Sometimes supply system is a bit silly. One common issue is that supply going over the sea is raided, in which case you can just turn off the sea zone. Sometimes the railway is not big enough, in which case you just upgrade it. Remember though that supply comes from your capital, and that if one railway has a too low level, the other railways won't do anything. Another issue could be that the next supply up is simply too far away, in which case you just gotta build a new one. Because we can't do everything on our own, let's hire some advisors. They will boost our country modifier. Take advisors based on your situation. For your main advisor, the attack advisor is usually the best. Then, if you use infantry, take infantry advisors. If you use tanks consisting of mechanized and tanks, get a mechanized and tank advisor. And if you use special forces, get a special force advisor. But I actually don't have any advisors. Just grind them. Grind general traits by attacking with certain units, and once you do that enough, you get a trait. Say infantry leader by attacking with infantry. Now we also need to level up our general, which you can do by simply fighting a little bit. Once he is level 4, you can promote him and boom, he's an infantry advisor. Another advantage of all of this is that generals also give you a positive modifier in battle. So grind them. It's generally really helpful to know what your enemy is doing in war, and in this game that is represented by a 15% intel advantage modifier. That is huge. To make sure you have intel advantage, put spies into the enemy's territory. Then, once your network builds up, put your spies on a passive network so they don't get caught. Afterwards, also infiltrate the enemy's army, and if you have the resources, even put spy planes over him. And congratulations, you now have a 15% modifier. After we did all this, we put our people on the front and realized we never taught our soldiers how to shoot the weapon. So no, do that. Press Shift and K so your units train up until level 3 and get a whopping extra 50% worth of modifiers. Huge. Now what's that up there? It's a plane, and it turns out they can shoot. We can use this by making our planes and putting them on cast mission to shoot the enemy. Turns out this gives us another modifier. We can make this modifier even bigger by picking the right air doctrines. Before I forget to mention that, you should obviously also make your general grind favorable terrain traits and adapt your division depending on whatever terrain you want to be fighting on. Alright, now with all of this done, only one thing for us left to do, and that is force attack our units so we can make a decisive breakthrough. And let's go ahead and click. And this, my friends, is the power of multiplicative modifiers. 12,000 soft attack and 18,000 hard attack with 8,000 breakthrough. And this isn't even maxed out. You can grind your units to veteran. You can do so many more things. You can fight on terrain tiles if you have enough bonuses. You can get positive terrain sets. It is insane what a few small and a few big modifiers end up being overall if you stack them.